It's okay. So today we're going to look at the basic tools of an entrepreneur. The other time we looked at the mindset of an entrepreneur. So today let's look at the basic tools. An entrepreneur need to have. But these basic tools are mainly the knowledge tools, like knowledge tools an entrepreneur must have to to be able to do well. So the first one is that if you're an entrepreneur in these modern times, you need to have an idea. You need to know the basic uh, principles of numeracy. You know, one, two, three, basic arithmetic operations. Something like addition, subtraction. You need to know numbers in your language. You need to know numbers in your language and need to know how to add, subtract, multiply and divide, in your language. You may not need to know quadratic equations. You may not need to know differential equation, all those things. But you need to know it is a basic tool that you need to have as an entrepreneur. You need to understand how to count 1, 2, 3 to what in your language. The other tool is literacy, some level of literacy. You need to know how to communicate effectively in your language or the language of the business you want to do. You need to know how to get information in that language. You need to know how to communicate your ideas in that language. These are the first tools. So you need to know how to understand, to concentrate on anything you want to do and pay attention. Because they say our attention is, we don't have inelastic attention span. We have, finite quantity of attention. So you need to know how to apply the attention to anything you want. The lifestyle, as an entrepreneur, you're not doing it to create products and serve the people. You're still doing it so that you can be alive, enjoy yourself, and keep moving. So your lifestyle, you need to know about, the type of food you eat, drink you take, sleep when you're supposed to sleep, rest when you're supposed to rest, exercise. These are all important to keep you going. And you need to know some as a basic tool to basic reasoning, logic, and all those things. You need to know them as an entrepreneur. These are basically tools you need to have. You need to know them. So then another thing as an entrepreneur need to know is the production and consumption. Production and consumption, the differences between production and consumption. As an entrepreneur, you need to know what it means to, work with the factors of production. You need to know the factors of production. You need to know, it is an entrepreneur that combines the factors of production to produce value that he exchanges for, for his profit and benefit. So the production as against consumption is, mobilization of the other factors of production. We have land. You need to know as an entrepreneur these factors of production. These are basic economics. You have to know it. You need to know land as a factor of production. What are the values of land? What can you do with land? What constitutes land? Land could mean, you have trees, economic trees. You have fertile land. You have even land that are not fertile. You can do it, use to something. You have water resources. You have oil. You have mineral resources. These are things there are natural resources that we use to, we use in our processes of production. Or you can even use it like fruits that come from plants. You can consume them directly, So these are things. Then capital, or let's say labor, for instance. Labor is the labor is the work, ability of the people who are doing the work in maybe in your enterprise. The people who are doing the human capital, who are doing the work, helping you convert other factors of production to the product that you want. These are labor. So we have a capital. Capital are things that you produce, maybe, or you don't even produce, or things that will help you to, in your production process. Capital are like factor, they are goods that you make, or you didn't make, or you get from people, it's man-made, but they help you to, use them as resources in the process of production. Capital can be like infrastructure and all those things. You need to know them. And when you know some of these things, it helps you to see clearly. Why we're saying these things, as an entrepreneur, you need to see clearly and know which one is land, which one is a capital, which one is labor. And the importance of all these ones are to help you know the ones you can scale and how you scale them. So the one you can build the leverages on. So, but why it is good to start from these basic economies is that as the economy of the world has gotten very complex, that sometimes we don't even know. We don't know the one that is capital. We don't know the one that is land again. We don't know the one that is labor. So, but those are things you need to know. When you know them, you now know how to see them and see them clearly, and how to know how to use them in your production process, in your, in the process of creating value. It even helps you to see how to mix these resources and get what you want. So as against consumption, I have consumption in quotes, because if you consume, you can be consuming some things, but those things you consume are maybe for you. You consume it for you, and you are a factor. As an entrepreneur, you are a factor in production. So some things that you consume to keep yourself going, to keep yourself alive, is a very important factor too in production. Except the ones that are frivolous. But sometimes some of those ones could give you psychological boosts. So consumption as against production are the things you consume that are not going to create, palpable value that you can see, that you can exchange for money or something, or for profit. So technology has helped us to see other sides of production. So now the world has developed so much that, like I said, land and capital, certain other things, features are developed from them. And these are things I want us to understand. This is like an introductory discussion. I want us to see this as an introductory discussion, the importance, the framework, understanding the factors of production, and understanding how to use them, and then know the contemporary factors of production. Because land, even labor, somehow has expanded. New features has come out. There's some some new books who are talking about the media, for instance. They look at the media as land. They look at the ability to code, the coding system as land. But I don't see it as there. I see the media as capital. That the media as a capital. Because it can be used in the process of production. Even though land can still be used as a factor, a strong factor in production. But you see that the media can help you to scale anything you're doing. Like what we're doing here today, we can decide to get more people to see it using the media with no other additional cost. So, and the coding system, or the code, the ability to code, the ability to make softwares, are new developments in factors of production. There are now factors of production. You can make a code, you can develop a software that will help you to scale your product or help you to produce things at a cheaper price. So those are the new features of the factors of production. Some people put them in land, some people put them in capital, exchange in capital. But capital is very important. Capital is very important. But for somebody who is an entrepreneur in AMI, who is trying to start in AMI, who may not have all the capital, the person can start with his labor. The person can start with his knowledge. He can start with his entrepreneurial capacity. That's why we're trying to point all these things out. And then there is something that's been discovered that you can scale. Some of these new companies that are making waves around the world, like Uber and all those, they didn't actually bring new technology. And what they did was to discover some gaps in service delivery and saw that there are some gaps that they can adjust. And when they adjust it, their business started moving. So they called those ones new. When you're able to identify new business model, assuming you are doing what do you say, maybe processing of palm fruit. And in that processing, you see that there is a place where it is difficult. A lot of energy goes there, a lot of money goes there, and you see that particular stage of the process, and then you develop a better way of doing it. You can do it faster and cheaper and better. So you may not have introduced any new technology, but because you have been able to decouple that place and added your own knowledge and everything, you see that it becomes better and easier, and people will go, because people are always looking for ways to produce things cheaper. So now, if you want to bring it practically to, when you look around as an entrepreneur, what can you start with? What can you do in I was telling one of my friends the other day, she was complaining about her sister. They're trying to sack her sister where she is working because she's pregnant. They expected me to be empathized, but I said that it may be a blessing. Because if your sister, how much she paid? Say she's paid about 30,000 or something. She's paid 30,000. That if she goes to a place and learn how to fry akara, and get a small place and begin to fry akara. If she makes profit of say 2,000 naira every day, she'll be making close to like 50,000 every month, and then she'll be available to take care of her children. Do you understand? So when I told her that, she now relaxed. So when we are talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about starting from what are the things we can do? What are the tools an entrepreneur could use in developing his or her business in These are things we should ask ourselves. What are the tools? What are the things? What are the resources that you can use, the factors of production that are here that we can use to achieve, to develop, create value, and then make profit, and then provide for the development of I don't know. I think that's what the basic tools that we say. Basic tools. Remember what we have just said? We just said that an entrepreneur should have knowledge of numbers, very primary knowledge of number. It doesn't need to know how to solve trigonometric operations and things like that. It doesn't need to know how to write English like Shakespeare. With literacy. It doesn't need to be a psychologist to learn how to. You just need to have those basic tools. Learn how to concentrate, pay attention to the thing that he wants to do. Learn how to pay attention to himself, his health. All those things, and then simple psychological activities like reasoning. How to take decision. So, and then understanding the factors of production, and so that he can know how to when he knows the factors of production, know how to combine them, knows the ability to look at production processes, see where he can add value to what is being done. So these are the primary tools that we need to have as entrepreneurs. Why this discussion today is important is sometimes because of the way the world has developed, we don't have the ability to see these items in the production process. So you as a teacher now, you may not see that it's a production process you're passing through. In your, you may not see yourself very well in the chain of in the process. So, and then you see yourself properly and know what resources you're putting in. You'll be able to know how to make adjust and make some changes that will give better results. So I don't know whether we have any question or discussion to contribute to this.
Right, so you did talk about labor. Yes, that is some of the basic resources needed in production.
Yes.
You also named capital
Yes.
as one of those basic resources.
Yes.
Yes, you said
you can come
something
closer
like
so I can hear you very well.
financial finance, that is money,
Yes.
is needed to drive productions.
Yes.
And I also want to know, away from that finance, is there anything that one can associate as capital production?
Yes, capital are all the goods you use. Like you can use if you have a production premises, it's like capital. Something you're using. You have machines that are like capital. In what
Land involved?
Yes, land is capital when it's being used for production process. But if it's used for maybe living your house, a house that you help you live in, but it's still in quote, because that house you're living, except it's overpriced, you're living in a big, too much house that your business cannot account for, cannot pay for. But if it's because you need to live in a house, you need to pay for living in a house. So if that house is such that it is not that a house that is overpriced and is providing you service, it's serving as capital. So those are things that serve as capital.
What about things like something like the warehouse? Maybe
Warehouse, yes.
Where you put
your goods
production.
production. It's capital. The capital, the capital.
We also say, given uh, the development in technology, that your electronic device like your phone, your laptop, PC can also serve as
a capital.
A capital.
Capital, but not when you went and bought. You are doing business that is turnover is turnover is maybe 10 million, and you went and bought a phone that is 20 million. I don't know whether that one is, but definitely phone. These are electronic devices. Phone, laptop, they are like capital because the world has changed. Now remember that what we are looking at today is knowledge tools of the entrepreneur. And when you have a phone that is connected with the internet, it's like you are connected with the whole library in the world in your phone. And when you have learned how to access information in that phone, you learn how to learn from that phone. It's like turning you around, and it will lift up your production.
And, and maybe if you have using it to communicate with your customers.
Your customers, yes.
For sales, for advertising your products.
Yes. You can use it. That's what we say scaling. That's why the media is the media we're talking about. It's internet. Internet is like some people look at it because of the vastness of the internet. They classify it as land, as new land. But I still think it's capital because it is developed, something that is man-made. It's something that is man-made that is assisting in the production process, in the entrepreneur, developing his product and selling his product and even scaling his activities. When you bring products, like when you do, when you create media products, you can create a product that when you just created it once, assuming you write a book, for instance, you write a book, you write it once, and the book will continue. You write a book, maybe an audio book, you write it once, and as people go to the book, they read it and it's good, they will keep recommending that the book will just keep producing you money without you adding additional money. This is the type of level entrepreneurs are.
And you're also like YouTube channel.
You have a YouTube channel, you have a Facebook channel, you have this is where you sell knowledge products like what we're doing. You get this knowledge product, you sell them, and some other person is watching it without any other additional cost to you. That is where we are now. That is what I want us to see. So you can, anytime you're doing anything, you know why you're doing it, you know how you're doing it, you know where it comes from, the factors of production. Be able to locate yourself very well as an entrepreneur. Your entrepreneur is the person, like I said, who mobilizes the other factors of production to create value, that will help the community, help the society, and help him.
Okay, Your Highness, I also heard you say that as one of the basic resources is needed for an entrepreneur, he or she must have what we call simple psychology.
Yes.
That's the ability to reason out things.
Yes.
Reason out things to put them in place to be able to achieve his self.
Yes.
I wish to know if in the process, if an entrepreneur maybe make some calculations within his mind that this is the way he wants to go about this production, things didn't work out that way. Does it not mean that probably he didn't get the right target?
But it happens, people, entrepreneurs, they can develop products, they can start a business, and they may not go well. But the issue is that if you're an entrepreneur, you know what you're doing, you still go back and then improve on your make a try and then move forward. So the reasoning, the thinking, I don't want us to, because we've talked so much about manifestation, meditation. I've discovered that that's why I put it. I think most business books that talks about entrepreneurs, they don't talk about that, but it's important for us to know that for us to even develop the ability to pay attention to what would the ability to use our imagination to create things, you need to develop that aspect of you, your basic your basic psychological tools need to be developed, and there are the 6 faculties of the mind. You need to develop them because what we are battling with is attention and distraction, and with the advent of the internet, the distractions are so much. But if you have developed yourself to focus and identify what is more important to you at this particular time, it will help you to focus. And if it helps you to focus, you'll be able to achieve the thing that you want. That's why I put it. It's a tool. I said basic, but it's a very important tool. Because one of the things we need to do is to learn how to manifest, understand how the world works. So I think, is there any other?
No, we are true.
So an entrepreneur must have that self-belief from the knowledge of garnered in trying to go into any business. So must have confidence in himself or herself that she's going to succeed or he's going to succeed in this business. So even if something doesn't work out initially the way planned, should not abandon.
No, should not abandon. He should continue.
Continue and think of another way.
Yes, because if he knows these tools, if he has these tools, he will be able to continue. Do you understand? He will continue. He will continue to move forward. But if he does not have the basic tools, sometimes if you don't know the real things that are important for you to achieve anything, you are just like maybe a mechanic who does not know the theories behind what you're doing. You don't know the theory behind the mechanism, like you're saying. You won't know what to do when you have a challenge. But now, what we want us to do is, as entrepreneurs, know these are the basics. Know them. When you know them, you always succeed. If you don't succeed, you look back at what you have done and where you made a mistake, and then correct it and move forward. I think we're okay today. Thank you.